Welcome back to Unstoppable Mindset. There are moments in life when the strongest thing you can say is absolutely nothing at all. We live in a noisy generation. Everybody wants to react. Everybody wants to defend themselves. Everybody wants the last word. But wisdom does not always announce itself with volume. Sometimes wisdom sits quietly. Sometimes power remains calm. Sometimes maturity refuses to argue. You must understand this principle. Silence is not weakness. Silence is often self-control in its highest form. A person who cannot control their tongue cannot control their future. Many people destroy relationships, opportunities, and destinies because they speak too quickly during emotional moments. The tongue can build a life, but it can also burn it down in seconds. There are times when your silence carries more authority than your explanation. There are seasons when saying less protects your peace, your dignity, and your purpose. Every battle does not deserve your voice. Every accusation does not deserve your response. Every opinion does not deserve your attention. A mature person knows when words are necessary and when silence becomes wisdom. The first time your silence says more than words ever could is when you are being disrespected by someone who is determined to misunderstand you. This is one of the hardest moments for human beings because our natural instinct is to defend ourselves immediately. We want to explain our intentions. We want to prove our value. We want to correct every false statement spoken against us. But wisdom teaches a different lesson. Wisdom teaches that not every battle deserves your voice. You must understand something powerful. Every reaction costs energy. Every unnecessary argument drains peace from your spirit. Some people are not looking for understanding. They are looking for access to your emotions. They provoke you because they enjoy seeing you lose control. The moment they can pull you into anger, frustration, and emotional chaos, they feel powerful. This is why silence becomes dangerous to people who expect your reaction. A mature person knows the difference between defending truth and feeding conflict. There are moments where speaking only adds fuel to unnecessary drama. Some individuals have already decided how they want to see you. No amount of explanation can change a mind that is committed to misunderstanding you. So instead of wasting energy trying to convince everyone, wisdom sometimes chooses silence. Silence is not weakness. Silence is discipline. It takes strength to remain calm when your emotions are screaming for a response. Anybody can shout. Anybody can argue. Anybody can insult people when angry. But it takes inner power to stay composed under pressure. That is the mark of emotional maturity. Many people destroy opportunities because they speak too quickly during emotional moments. One angry sentence can damage relationships, reputations, and future connections. Words spoken in rage often leave scars that apologies cannot fully remove. This is why self-control is one of the greatest forms of wisdom a person can develop. When someone disrespects you, your silence can communicate confidence. It says, I know my value and I refuse to lower myself to this level. There is dignity in walking away from conversations designed to steal your peace. Not every insult deserves your attention. Not every critic deserves your explanation. Look at truly successful people. The most secure individuals do not spend their entire lives defending themselves against every opinion. They stay focused on purpose. They understand that distracted people react to everything, but disciplined people protect their energy carefully. A lion does not stop to answer every barking animal in the jungle. Why? Because strength does not feel pressured to prove itself constantly. In the same way, your future is too important to waste on endless emotional battles. This does not mean you should never speak up for yourself. Wisdom also knows there are moments that require truth and courage. But emotional intelligence teaches timing. It teaches restraint. It teaches discernment. Before speaking, ask yourself, will these words solve the problem or will they multiply confusion? Sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is calm silence. Silence can expose immaturity without you saying a single word. Silence can protect your dignity when others are losing control. Silence can reveal that your peace is more valuable than winning an argument. And in a noisy world where everybody feels the need to react instantly, the person who masters silence often becomes the person who masters themselves. The second time your silence says more than words ever could is when you are deeply hurt. Pain has a powerful ability to change the way people speak. When emotions are high, wisdom often becomes low. Hurt people sometimes say things they never truly mean, and in a single emotional moment, years of trust can be damaged. This is why silence during pain is not weakness. It is protection. One of the greatest signs of maturity is learning not to speak from wounded emotions. When disappointment, betrayal, anger, or heartbreak takes over your mind, your words become dangerous. Emotional pain can make temporary feelings sound permanent. You may speak out of frustration today and regret those words for years tomorrow. Many people destroy relationships because they respond too quickly during painful moments. Instead of pausing, they react immediately. Instead of thinking clearly, they allow emotions to control their tongue. But wisdom teaches patience. Wisdom understands that silence can prevent destruction before it begins. There are moments in life where the best response is not immediate reaction, but quiet reflection. Silence gives your emotions time to settle. It creates space for clarity. It allows your mind to calm down so your words can heal instead of wound. A person who speaks while consumed by anger often creates more pain than the original situation itself. You must understand this principle. Not every emotion deserves expression the moment you feel it. Emotional discipline is one of the greatest powers a human being can develop. Anybody can explode under pressure. Anybody can lose control when hurt. But strong people know how to pause before speaking. Sometimes silence is wisdom saying, "Do not speak until your heart becomes calm enough to think clearly." When people are hurting, they often search for somebody to blame. They release frustration through harsh words because pain demands an outlet. But words spoken in anger cannot be taken back. Once released, they leave scars in the hearts of others. This is why wise people learn to process emotions privately before responding publicly. Silence during pain also reveals strength of character. It shows that you are not controlled by your feelings. It proves that your emotions do not own your decisions. Self-control is not about pretending pain does not exist. It is about refusing to let pain transform you into someone destructive. There are moments when walking away quietly is wiser than winning an emotional argument. There are times when remaining silent prevents permanent damage. In difficult seasons, silence becomes a shield protecting relationships, reputations, and peace of mind. Even nature teaches this lesson. After storms, there is always stillness. Calmness returns before rebuilding begins. In the same way, your spirit needs moments of quiet after emotional battles. Healing often begins in silence. You do not always need to explain your pain to everybody. Some wounds heal better in private reflection than public reaction. Not everybody deserves access to your emotional struggles. Sometimes silence protects your dignity while you recover internally. And remember this carefully, silence during pain is not suppression when used wisely. It is preparation. It is giving yourself time to respond with wisdom instead of reacting with emotion. The strongest people are not those who speak the loudest during hardship. The strongest people are often the ones who remain calm enough to choose their words carefully. Because once emotions settle, wisdom returns. And when wisdom returns, your silence will have protected you from saying things your future self would regret forever. The third time your silence says more than words ever could is when your success begins to grow. One of the clearest signs of maturity is becoming less interested in announcing everything to everybody. Many people talk constantly about their plans, dreams, and goals, but wisdom understands that not every vision needs public attention. There is power in moving quietly. We live in a generation where people feel pressured to display everything. Every idea must be posted. Every achievement must be announced. Every step must receive validation from others. But truly focused people understand something important. Constant attention can become a distraction from real progress. Silence protects vision. When a seed is planted in the ground, it grows in hidden places before anybody sees the results. In the same way, your greatest development often happens privately. Discipline grows in silence. Character grows in silence. Preparation grows in silence. Before success becomes visible publicly, it is usually built quietly behind closed doors. Many people fail because they speak more about their goals than they work on them. Talking creates temporary excitement, but discipline creates lasting results. There are individuals who love the sound of ambition, but avoid the sacrifice required to achieve it. Wise people understand that success is not built through announcements. It is built through consistency. Sometimes silence is necessary because not everybody celebrating with you truly supports you. Some people become uncomfortable when they see your growth. Your progress reminds them of the risks they never took, the discipline they never developed, and the excuses they continue to make. This is why wisdom teaches discernment. Not every person deserves access to your next move. A focused person learns how to build without needing applause every step of the journey. They understand that validation from people is temporary, but purpose is lasting. Silence becomes protection against unnecessary opinions, distractions, and negativity. There are dreams that grow stronger in privacy. The more you expose certain plans too early, the more you invite confusion into your mind. Everybody has advice. Everybody has opinions. Everybody wants to tell you what is possible and what is impossible. But when you remain silent, you protect your focus from outside noise. The sun does not announce its arrival every morning. It simply rises, and the world notices its presence. In the same way, true success eventually speaks for itself. Results become louder than promises. Discipline becomes louder than motivation. Consistency becomes louder than words. Silence during success also teaches humility. Some people achieve small victories and immediately become prideful. They begin to seek attention instead of growth. But humble people remain teachable. They continue learning. They continue improving. They understand that success is easier to achieve than it is to maintain. Real confidence does not constantly seek recognition. Secure people do not need to prove their worth every day. Their work speaks for them. Their consistency speaks for them. Their character speaks for them. You must learn to separate movement from noise. Just because people are loud does not mean they are progressing. Some of the most powerful individuals move quietly because they are too focused to perform for the crowd. Silence during growth is not secrecy driven by fear. It is wisdom driven by purpose. It is understanding that your energy should be invested in building your future, not constantly explaining it. And one day, the same people who never understood your quiet season will suddenly notice the results you built in silence. Because when purpose is real, eventually success introduces itself without needing an announcement. The fourth time your silence says more than words ever could is when you are facing false accusations. Few things test emotional strength more than being misunderstood, judged unfairly, or criticized for something that is not true. Human nature immediately wants to defend itself. We want to correct every lie. We want to explain every detail. We want people to see our side of the story. But wisdom teaches that not every accusation deserves your emotional energy. Some people speak against you because they do not understand you. Others criticize you because they envy your growth. And there are people who create false stories simply because your progress makes them uncomfortable. The painful truth is this: no matter how good your heart is, there will always be individuals determined to see you negatively. If you spend your entire life fighting every rumor and every misunderstanding, you will become emotionally exhausted. Your focus will disappear because your energy will constantly be tied to defending yourself instead of building your purpose. Wise people understand the importance of discernment. They know when to speak and when silence is the stronger response. Silence during false accusations is not weakness. It is confidence in truth itself. Truth does not panic. Truth does not become desperate. Lies often move quickly, but truth has endurance. Time eventually exposes character. People can pretend for a season, but eventually consistent behavior reveals who they really are. Many individuals destroy their peace trying to force everybody to understand them. But you must accept an important reality. Some people have already decided what they want to believe about you. No amount of explanation will change a mind committed to negativity. This is why silence sometimes becomes wisdom, saying, "I will not waste my spirit trying to convince people determined to misunderstand me." There are moments where responding emotionally only creates more confusion. Anger feeds drama. Constant defense can make you appear insecure even when you are innocent. But calm silence often reveals strength. It shows emotional control. It shows maturity. It shows confidence that your life will eventually speak louder than false words. This does not mean you should never defend yourself. Wisdom also knows there are situations where truth must be spoken clearly and courageously. But discernment is knowing the difference between necessary defense and unnecessary conflict. Some battles require your voice. Others only require your patience. One of the greatest forms of peace comes when you stop feeling responsible for controlling everybody's opinion of you. You cannot manage every thought people have about your life. You cannot silence every critic. You cannot correct every false assumption. But you can protect your mind. You can protect your focus. You can protect your character. Your reputation may be attacked temporarily, but character always reveals itself over time. A tree is not judged by one season. In the same way, your life should not be defined by one accusation, one rumor, or one misunderstanding. Consistency eventually speaks louder than gossip. Sometimes silence becomes a form of dignity. It says, "I know the truth about my life, and I refuse to allow confusion to control my emotions." There is strength in remaining calm when others expect you to lose control. And remember this carefully. People who are deeply focused on purpose rarely have time to fight every opinion spoken against them. They stay committed to growth. They stay committed to peace. They allow time, truth, and character to speak on their behalf. Because in the end, truth does not need endless defense. Eventually, it stands on its own. The fifth time your silence says more than words ever could is when someone betrays you. Betrayal creates a unique kind of pain because it usually comes from people you trusted deeply. Strangers cannot wound you the way trusted people can. The pain of betrayal is not only about what happened, it is about the shock of discovering that someone you valued handled your heart carelessly. When betrayal happens, emotions become dangerous. Anger rises quickly. Pride wants revenge. Hurt demands expression. Many people immediately feel the need to expose, attack, or emotionally destroy the person who hurt them. But wisdom teaches a higher level of strength. Wisdom understands that not every wound should turn into warfare. Silence during betrayal is not weakness. It is self-control. It is refusing to allow pain to transform you into someone bitter, destructive, or consumed by revenge. Anybody can react emotionally when hurt, but strong people understand that temporary emotions should not control permanent decisions. One of the greatest mistakes people make after betrayal is allowing one painful experience to poison their entire future. They become angry at life, angry at relationships, angry at people, angry at themselves. Instead of healing, they carry emotional poison for years. And the tragedy is this: the person who betrayed them may move on, but they remain trapped in bitterness. You must understand something important. Holding on to resentment does not punish the other person nearly as much as it punishes you. Bitterness drains peace. It steals joy. It destroys emotional clarity. It keeps old wounds alive long after the moment has passed. This is why silence can become healing. There are moments where speaking less protects your spirit more than saying everything you feel. Sometimes silence is choosing dignity over emotional chaos. It is walking away without needing revenge to feel powerful. It is deciding that your future matters more than your anger. Not every betrayal deserves public exposure. Some people lose access to your life quietly. Some relationships end without dramatic announcements. Wisdom understands that protecting your peace is more important than proving your pain to the world. A mature person learns how to let people go without losing themselves in the process. They understand that betrayal reveals character, not just the character of the person who hurt them, but also their own character in how they respond. Pain can either make you wiser or make you harder. And many people become emotionally hard because they never truly heal. They build walls around their hearts. They stop trusting. They stop loving. They stop believing in good people because one painful experience convinced them that everybody will hurt them. But silence during betrayal allows reflection. It creates space for healing instead of constant emotional reaction. It allows wisdom to rise above pain. This does not mean pretending betrayal did not hurt. Real strength is not emotional denial. Real strength is acknowledging pain without allowing pain to control your future. You can be wounded without becoming bitter. You can be disappointed without becoming hateful. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do after betrayal is continue growing peacefully. Let your healing speak. Let your maturity speak. Let your calmness speak louder than revenge ever could. Because at the end of the day, people who betray others often expect emotional chaos in return. They expect anger. They expect destruction. But silence can become the greatest statement of all. It says, "You may have hurt me, but you will not control my spirit." And there is incredible power in that kind of quiet strength. The sixth time your silence says more than words ever could is when you are surrounded by foolishness. One of the greatest signs of wisdom is learning that you do not have to speak in every conversation, argue in every debate, or respond to every opinion thrown at you. Many people believe intelligence is proven by talking constantly, but true wisdom often reveals itself through restraint. Foolishness loves noise. Foolishness loves attention. Foolishness feels uncomfortable with silence because silence exposes insecurity. This is why some people speak endlessly, interrupt constantly, and argue emotionally about everything. They are not always searching for truth. Sometimes they are only searching for control, validation, or attention. But wise people understand the value of observation. A mature person enters a room and studies before speaking. They listen carefully. They watch people's attitudes, emotions, and intentions. They understand that listening teaches more than constant talking ever could. Silence becomes a tool of discernment. Many people reveal their character simply by speaking too much. When people talk endlessly, they often expose their insecurities, pride, jealousy, or lack of wisdom without realizing it. But the person who remains calm and observant gains understanding. You must understand this principle. Not every environment deserves your energy. Some conversations are designed only to create confusion and conflict. There are individuals who argue not because they want truth, but because they enjoy emotional drama. If you try to reason with every foolish person, you will waste precious time and peace. Wisdom knows when silence is more productive than explanation. There are moments where arguing with foolishness only multiplies foolishness. Have you ever noticed that some people become louder the more you try to explain? That is because certain minds are not seeking understanding. They are seeking victory over your emotions. A wise person learns how to protect their peace by refusing unnecessary battles. Silence says, I value my energy too much to waste it here. This does not mean intelligent people never speak. It means they speak with purpose. Their words carry weight because they are not constantly talking. When wise people finally speak, people listen because their silence has already demonstrated discipline and self-control. Some of the most powerful individuals in history mastered the art of listening. They understood that knowledge grows when you observe more than you perform. Loud people may gain attention temporarily, but calm people often gain influence permanently. Think about deep rivers. They move quietly, yet they carry tremendous power. In the same way, truly wise people do not feel the need to announce their intelligence constantly. Confidence does not scream for recognition. Many people talk too much because they fear silence. Silence forces reflection. Silence exposes shallow thinking. Silence reveals emotional immaturity. But disciplined people are comfortable being quiet because they are secure within themselves. You must also learn that some people cannot be corrected through argument. Experience will teach them lessons your words never could. This is why wisdom sometimes chooses silence instead of endless debate. Not because truth is weak, but because discernment understands timing and value. The older you become, the more you realize that peace is precious. You stop feeling the need to prove yourself in every room. You stop reacting to every foolish statement. You stop fighting battles that do not improve your life. And that quiet discipline becomes strength. Because sometimes your silence communicates something far greater than words ever could. It says, I have nothing to prove, and I refuse to let foolishness disturb my spirit. The seventh time your silence says more than words ever could is during difficult seasons of life. There are moments every human being experiences where words become unnecessary because the struggle itself is teaching lessons deeper than conversation ever could. These are the quiet seasons, the painful seasons, the seasons where life slows down, dreams seem delayed, and answers feel distant. Most people do not like silent seasons because silence can feel uncomfortable. When life becomes quiet, you are forced to face yourself. There are no distractions hiding your fears, insecurities, or frustrations. Silence exposes what noise often covers up. But sometimes the very season you are trying to escape is the season developing your strength. You must understand this carefully. Growth is not always loud. Some of the greatest transformations happen internally where nobody can see them. A tree develops its deepest roots during storms, not during sunshine. In the same way, difficult seasons often produce the strongest character. Pain stretches your faith. Waiting develops patience. Struggle builds endurance. Disappointment teaches wisdom. These lessons cannot always be learned through comfort. Many people want visible success without invisible development. They want the reward without the process. They want influence without discipline. They want greatness without pressure. But destiny is usually built quietly before it becomes visible publicly. Silence during difficult seasons is not proof that your life is failing. Sometimes silence is preparation. Sometimes silence is where clarity is born. Sometimes silence is where your purpose becomes stronger. There are moments where life removes distractions so you can rediscover who you truly are. The noise fades. The applause fades. The attention fades. And suddenly you are left alone with your thoughts, your faith, and your character. Those moments can feel painful, but they are often transformational. A person who has never struggled deeply usually lacks depth emotionally. Hardship creates wisdom when handled correctly. Difficult seasons teach compassion. They teach humility. They teach gratitude. They teach dependence on discipline instead of emotions. This is why you must never despise quiet seasons in your life. Some people panic when things slow down because they believe silence means abandonment. But silence does not always mean something is wrong. A seed buried underground looks invisible before it grows. Yet beneath the surface, development is happening quietly. In the same way, your life may be developing in ways you cannot yet see. Silence also teaches self-discovery. When external noise disappears, you begin to hear your inner thoughts more clearly. You begin to recognize unhealthy habits, emotional weaknesses, and areas needing growth. This awareness is uncomfortable but necessary. Transformation begins when honesty enters your life. There are seasons where speaking less and reflecting more becomes essential. Instead of complaining constantly, wisdom chooses observation. Instead of becoming bitter, wisdom chooses growth. Instead of seeking distractions, wisdom chooses discipline. The strongest people are often built in private battles nobody knows about. Behind every calm person is usually a history of silent struggles they survived internally. Strength is not always visible during the process, but over time it reveals itself through character. And one day, when the difficult season finally passes, you realize something powerful. The silence was not destroying you. It was shaping you. It was teaching patience when you wanted immediate answers. It was teaching faith when circumstances looked uncertain. It was teaching endurance when quitting felt easier. Because sometimes the quietest seasons of your life produce the loudest transformation in your future.